Hi, students. Today we're talking about understanding how stories work, story structure, and the Freytag diagram. My name is Miss Guest Johnson, and I'm a National Board Certified Teacher in CTE, Arts, Media, and Entertainment. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's start with the big question. What is story structure, and why does it matter? Story structure is the framework or blueprint that shapes how a story unfolds. It's the way events are organized and connected so that the story makes sense. It keeps us interested and it leads us to somewhere meaningful. Good story structure isn't just for writers and filmmakers. It's something we experience every time we watch a movie, we read a book, or even listen to a friend tell a story. It's important because it helps audiences follow along, understand your characters' journeys, and feel emotions at just the right moments. There are a lot of different models and diagrams that help us think about story structure. For example, you might have heard about the hero's journey, the three-act structure, or Save the Cat. Each model offers its own perspective on how stories work best. But for this course, we'll be focusing on the Freytag diagram. It's also called Freytag's pyramid. We're using that model because it clearly breaks a story into the key moments that almost every strong narrative has. And it's simple to apply whether you're writing your own story or analyzing someone else's. Now, I didn't create Freytag's pyramid or diagram. It actually comes from Gustav Freytag, a German novelist and playwright from the 1800s. He studied classical plays and mapped out a six-part structure that you'll see in everything from ancient myths to today's animated movies. There are six parts that we're covering in this course, and that is the exposition, the inciting incident, the rising action, the climax, the falling action, and the resolution. Sometimes you'll see five or seven, but we're focused on six. Let's define each part before we see it in action. So, the exposition, that's the story's introduction. Here we meet the main characters. We learn about their worlds and we discover what everyday life looks for them. The inciting incident is the event that sets everything in motion. It's the moment when normal life is interrupted and the main problem or adventure begins. The rising action includes all the events and obstacles that build suspense and make things more complicated for the main character. The stakes get higher and higher, and tension grows. The climax is the turning point of the story. It's the most intense and dramatic moment. It's when the main conflict comes to a head and the outcome is decided. Oftentimes, we think of it's whether we win or lose, if the character lives or dies. It's that point of the film. The falling action comes right after the climax. Here we see the immediate effects of what happened, and the story starts to wind down as problems are resolved. The resolution is the ending. The story wraps up, the loose ends are tied, and we see how the characters and the world have changed. Now, Let's apply Freytag's diagram to a movie you probably know, Finding Nemo. It's one of my favorites. And so here's an image of Freytag's diagram, and it looks like a pyramid. Yeah, let's take a look. If you haven't seen Nemo, Finding Nemo, you might want to watch the trailer or watch the film. It's one of my favorites. I'm pretty sure you'll love it too. So, the exposition, it starts off with Marlin, and he is a cautious clownfish, and he raises his only son Nemo on the reef, fearing his safety. And after losing his whole family, it's it's a very hard beginning, but you know, the inciting incident is when Nemo defies Marlin. He swims towards a boat. He touches it, and at that moment, he's captured by a scuba diver. And that starts Marlin's desperate search for his son. Marlin and Dory face sharks in the rising action. They also face jellyfish and whales. And while Nemo, he works to plot his escape from the dentist tank with his new friends. So there's all this drama happening that goes towards the climax. And when we get to the climax, we see that Nemo escapes the tank. He reunites with Marlin. And then there's this situation where Dory gets trapped. I can't tell you the whole story because you have to watch it. But it's the moment where we think someone's going to live or die. And we have to trust Nemo. Marlin has to trust his son. And that is the climax. And he tells everybody to swim down. You'll know what I'm talking about when you get there. And he saves Dory, and he saves all these other fish from a fishing net. And then in the falling action, after the rescue, Marlin now trusts Nemo's abilities. They all safely return home with a newfound understanding and a stronger bond. And the film ends with the resolution. Marlin is confidently allowing Nemo to attend school, and he's demonstrating trust, growth, and a renewed sense of happiness and family. It's such an awesome film. Why do we use Freytag? Well, we use Freytag because it breaks stories into digestible segments. It aids in planning and pacing our own narratives, and it helps deepen analysis of stories you read or watch. And we're going to remember that story structure is crucial for engagement and clarity. The Freytag pyramid offers a classic, well-tested model, and we will use it in this course to plan our stories. And we will also dissect some of our favorite films. So good luck, students. If you haven't watched Nemo, check it out because we'll be talking about it in future videos.